Aren't we all glad it's Friday? Yes, we're looking forward for the weekend, and welcome to Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports. Today is the 19th of October 2012, and let's take a look at the headlines and what's been happening over the past week. Starting off with some local, in the local political arena. We have the issue of the UMP and some of their members deciding to join the joint opposition rally which was held, and MP Karu Jayasuriya bows out at last minute. In a dramatic turn of events, UMP parliamentarian Karu Jayasuriya decided not to participate in the joint opposition rally which was attended by former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca. And the pictures show here of some of the pictures here shows the joint rally, and at the joint rally it was said by Sarath Fonseca that he was robbed of victory, and saying that if he was elected he would have abolished the executive presidency. Now some of the UMP MPs who did participate in this rally, that is MPs Palita Rangabandara, Palita Tevrapperuma and Asoka Abesinghe, are supposed to be facing some disciplinary action from the UMP leader. Ranil Wickremesinghe is to take disciplinary action against the three MPs who did participate in the joint opposition rally. Now while this opposition rally is happening, on the one side the opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has invited Mr. Fonseca. The opposition UMP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has invited former Army Commander and Democratic National Alliance leader Sarath Fonseca to join in the UMP-led opposition group Vipakse Virodha. So there we go. Apparently this is mainly to focus on some of the difficulties faced by small businesses, and he says a few are earning millions by manipulating the stock market, while a poor street vendor is not allowed to sell even an onion. There we go. This picture shows shows how Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe is distributing leaflets asking people to join this rally that they are going to carry out. There we go. And moving on, tax on drinking wells. Now Sri Lankans who dig traditional or tube wells to obtain water for drinking and other purposes are supposed to obtain an annual permit which would range from 7,500 to rupees 15,000, and clean water will become the most precious natural resource on the earth in the next 40 to 50 years, and therefore it is the responsibility of the present generation to take action to preserve and protect it for future generation before it is too late. And going forward, the Water Resources Board will be issuing a permit priced between rupees 7,500 to 15,000 that has to be obtained before you make a tube well or the traditional well. So there we go. Water preservation on the books, and I think this is very important because Sri Lanka has an abundance of clean water, and it is very important that we take care of our natural resources. Moving on, US concerned about hasty resettlement. The United States said yesterday it was concerned about the hurried resettlement of internally displaced people from the Manic Farm refugee camp in Vaunia. And the figures shown here says that there are only around 2,000 persons in IDP camps at the moment, and as of September 9, 2012, 279,600 people have been resettled. But the United States say that many of the most vulnerable families of the war-affected population in the north have been placed on land hastily cleared without adequate shelter, and they are raising concerns that this has been too quick a process. And moving on, another story, the Prime Minister Honorable D.M. Jayaratne, who is undergoing treatment currently in the United States, will be returning back, is expected to return within the next 2 weeks. Then the media unit of the Prime Minister said he is recovering and will be here most probably before next month. The Prime Minister's media secretary, Mr. Vijay Singh, has told the papers yesterday. And on instructions from President Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Premier was flown to the US in September for treatment. So that is, I guess, that's good news. The Premier will return soon. Moving on to some international news, talking about Prime Ministers. The Australian Prime Minister has not had the best of days. The Australian PM falls head over heels. And this is a very interesting story, and I almost feel sorry for her. Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard had a history of losing shoes, and another footwear fumble that saw her take an embarrassing tumble in India grabbed the headlines on Thursday. Then the nation's first female leader, who last week won international attention for a very hard-hitting lecture about sexism and several other topics, had just laid a wreath at the Gandhi Memorial in New Delhi when she fell in front of the cameras. And the good news is that she hasn't really injured herself, and she managed to get herself back after the fall as well. But probably the sad news is that this has been televised all over the Australian TVs and been used for a lot of talk shows as well. So that's a bit of international news for you, but more in detail, we will have a very in-depth discussion about the US presidential election, especially about the second debate that happened 2 days back, and also about the vice presidential debate that happened last week. Moving on to some business news. Fresh challenge against SC special determination on expropriation bill. Public interest litigator Nihal Sri Amarsekar filed a landmark application in the Supreme Court yesterday, seeking to have the court's determination pertaining to the government's controversial Expropriation Act reviewed and re-examined and declared null and void and having no force in law. There we go. That is about the special determination on the expropriation bill. And moving on to a success story, I would say, it's been featured on the Daily FT. T-Boy to Tycoon. Mr. Harry Jayawardena has turned nostalgic at the launch of his latest venture, and business tycoon Harry Jayawardena yesterday turned nostalgic while sending a very inspiring message on how Sri Lanka has to capitalize and take the best out of the fruits that have been, that we can enjoy, the fruits of peace. And he says, speaking further, he says that there are opportunities that are unfolding which Sri Lankans must seize. We are enjoying the fruits of peace, and there are so many new opportunities. We must seize these opportunities. Like in T20 cricket, we need to get hold of catchers and not drop them. That's what Mr. Harry Jayawardena says, one of a senior business leader and one of the most respected and successful businessmen in Sri Lanka. He's just opened up his newest venture. Moving on with some business news, the insurance industry has grown, and it says that it grows by a percentage of 13.5 in the first half of the year. Sri Lanka's insurance industry recorded a total gross written premium of rupees 43.78 billion during the first half of 2012, reflecting a 13.45% growth over the previous year. And the country's insurance regulator, the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka, said. So that is good news once again. And what's interesting is in terms of growth and everything, what we need to understand is sustainable growth is what everyone should be looking forward to and trying to achieve. And in terms of eco-sustainability, the German embassy in Colombo has partnered with a few companies and is going to start green tuk-tuks. Now these three-wheelers are going to be run on gas, and they're promoting green transportation as an alternative form for the usual petrol or diesel three-wheelers. And that's the German embassy in Colombo, who have recently partnered to power green tuk-tuks. And moving on to some sports news, we have on the papers the Deccan Chargers. The IPL has been coming back on the news once again, and the Deccan Chargers have lost the battle to stay in IPL. Cash-strapped Indian Premier League side Deccan Chargers yesterday lost another attempt to remain in the lucrative competition after a court backed their expulsion. So here we go. The champions of 2009, Deccan Chargers, have lost the battles to stay in the IPL. The Bombay High Court quashed an arbitrator's order that had stopped the Board of Control for Cricket in India from going ahead with its decision. So there we go. That's bad news for Deccan Chargers in the IPL. And taking a look at the local sports arena, the annual water polo encounter between Ladies College and Visaka Vidyalaya was to happen yesterday, but then again there was heavy raining coupled with lightning and they couldn't play the match. I think it will be played within this week or the following week, if at all. And also in terms of some of the matches that's been happening, in terms of hockey, the annual Trinity Thomian hockey match happened over the past week, and Trinity College Kandy managed to record a victory with a scoreline of 2-1. And also the annual encounter between Ladies College and Bishops College, the hockey encounter, is going to happen next week as well. We will bring you more stories of that. But then again, we are going to head on to a short commercial break, and we will be back to talk more in depth about the presidential election. Stay tuned into Good Morning.